Hello, everybody! Welcome to another Toon-kind game
At 12
at 12
FPS.
FPS. Got there in the end. Ugh. Uh, my name is Blaze, and I am joined by the wonderful, the very talented, and creative.
And that is me, Fletcher. And also
Yay!
Blaze. Because there are many talented and creative people here.
This is true, like Fletcher.
Including you in
Yeah!
the gallery, Comet, my beloved.
Oh, yeah, a comment. Hi!
Surprise snipe.
Surprise snipe. And
Uh,
today here for Spool of Yarn before we forget to say what the game is.
yes. Uh, I am Fletcher, and I will be playing a tiny little rat named Fleck.
And I, Blaze, will be playing an older sheep tune known as Shelly.
Yes.
And yep, so got a day in Little Corner. Guessing it's a little cold out today. Fall's in the air. Halloween's been and gone, and days are just getting a little bit colder. And what's Fleck up to?
Well, I think Fleck, he's probably he's been helping out at the community a lot, uh, and it's been overall pretty nice. He likes helping out, even if the circumstances aren't the best.
Mm.
Uh, but he's definitely noticed the drop in temperature, and that's probably a good time to go and acquire some supplies.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, for wintertime. Just, like warm clothing, fabric, wool.
Yep, yep. Did you wanna make a roll to see how well you do on your search?
Uh, sure. What would that be?
Investigation, I'm guessing?
Okay, wonderful. He's so good at that. He has the best. He, 11.
That's
Okay.
not too bad. That's not too
Yeah,
bad. Like,
not too bad.
yeah. Maybe it takes you a minute. Maybe you go to, find some breakfast first.
Has gotten into apple tarts recently.
Oh,
In more ways than one.
no. Yep. So, I'm guessing Fleck goes along. There's, a few things. Some of the shops and stalls in Little Corner are starting to get warmer things out, and as you're going along, you find just a just snagged on like one of those stray hooks somebody hasn't bothered to like hammer down yet. It is just a bit of a tuft of wool, and it's looks like a soft lavender in color.
Fleck is uh, definitely gonna grab that wool and probably take a closer look. I'm imagining it's another investigation check.
Yes. Oh,
16!
16. Okay, yeah, that's really good. So
He's
this
allowed
is
to have eyes today.
yes, he's allowed. Apparently, he's allowed to perceive today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely like it's a nice wool. Like you can tell it's been like well maintained, kept clean and whatnot. But this is also wool that hasn't been spun yet. So whoever's got this has probably has just like a little fresh bundle of wool, which you could potentially turn into anything depending on what you wanted to do with it. And you can't, despite having a really good look at it, you can't quite tell how it's been dyed because it's like it's nice, it's clean, it's got no chemical smell to it. There's no little, grittiness that some of the cheaper dyes have. It's just that color, and you're not. I mean, you can tell it's kind of like maybe like a cartoon effect because tunes don't always have logic to them, but
Yeah.
it's something. It's an interesting color, and it definitely looks to be something. And with a 16, you can probably guess where the person with the wool went. Which direction they were going.
Yeah, he's probably gonna go and follow that trail because, you know, it's very nice wool,
Mm-hmm.
and the community could definitely use more of that.
Yeah, they need things more, especially if it gets colder.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you want to roll stealth to see how well you blend in while following along this trail, or?
Yeah, sure. He's used to stealthing around.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
17. Thank
17.
goodness for plus 10
Yeah.
modifiers.
Yeah, you're pretty gone. There's like maybe a moment or two where you think you've been spotted, but nobody sees you. You're a little rat. You're going along your way, and eventually you catch up to a sheep tune who is going along, and she has like a basket tucked in the crook of one arm, and she's using what looks to be an oversized knitting needle as a walking stick as she goes along. And she's holding it in one hoof.
Oh, that is very fun.
And you see that her hair is that very fluffy wool, and it looks to be um, lavender in color, the same lavender with a few flecks of soft lemon yellow.
Oh, Fleck wants that.
So I'll let you go off the 17, and you follow her along for a bit, and she does seem to be heading home. She goes back to her place. It's a little house, and she lets herself in, and she closes the door behind her. But after a minute of letting herself in, she starts opening some of the windows. What does
Well,
Fleck
that is very good for a certain little rat.
do? See,
So he probably hears the window open and well, actually, let me roll perception.
yeah, maybe some perception.
12.
12, not too bad, not too bad. What is Fletch trying to perceive?
Uh, Mostly right now, he probably followed her to the door
Mm-hmm.
first. Um, and like when it's closed, he kind of started looking for a less conspicuous way in.
Okay. Um, it probably takes you a minute. This does seem to be like perhaps a newer house or recently fixed up house, but you do actually find like a little way in. Like there's a crack in one of the walls where it looks like maybe a vine or plant had been growing and was pulled away, but you're willing to bet that, with all the time you spent in the community, that you can probably try and see if you can sneak your way in this way.
And try he is indeed.
Okay.
So that's probably another roll of stealth, I'm imagining.
Yep, yep.
Or would it be acrobatics?
I'll let you make an argument for either, because aren't just trying to be quiet, but you're trying to get through skillfully too. Like this isn't a normal way in.
Yeah. We'll go with acrobatics first and see where that takes us.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's a 25. It takes us pretty good, apparently.
Oh yeah, you're like, oh, I've been in the community for a few days now. You're just like, I know how this works. You're just like, tick, 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 tick. You're just up in the wall.
He's
Tick,
been
tick, tick, tick,
climbing things his whole life.
exactly, exactly. You just navigate your way into this wall, and you find that there's like it does come out into the house a little bit. You come out like a bit behind painting. It's like some like obviously a bit of damage to the wall. Somebody puts a picture up over the front, and it looks like you can either go along the top. There seems to be like like some of that crown molding along the top of the walls, or you can try to go down along the floor.
He's he's probably gonna go up.
Okay,
People don't tend to look up,
that's very true. That is very true.
especially in a world of cartoon tropes.
Yes, if nothing else, yes. Okay, so you go in, you start going up. I'll definitely let you continue off of that 25 because dang, that's a
Yeah.
25.
He just
Um,
does a little scramble.
yeah, yeah. Did you want to do another perception check?
Sure, let's see. He
Oh,
he is starting to lose his rights to see.
seems like it, yeah. Okay, so maybe you're just too distracted by, you're in a new place, It's like, hey, look, this is a living room. It's a nice living room. It's got like, a little couch, a little coffee table and stuff like that, like a few decorations up and everything. And you can hear the sheep tune. You're not too sure where she is, though, at the moment in the apartment, because I'm afraid you only got a 9. You are up on the molding, though. It's because you are so very small. You definitely fit. So unless something happens, you can scurry along. Where do you want to go?
Hmm. Let's see. It is. Hmm. Might scurry on over to the kitchen area.
Okay. Yeah. It takes you a second because you don't know this house. You're not sure where the kitchen is. Like you turn down one way and you're like, oh, that's a hallway. That's a bedroom. Oh no, here's the kitchen, and you find it because you start smelling something very earthy and very very warm. Like somebody is cooking in this kitchen, and you hear the puttering about, and you see her moving about and taking down like different vegetables and whatnot, and different other things, and she's got like a little punt of blueberries next to her. And make another perception check.
Okay. My boy is the best at seeing.
He is right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was permitted his eyes back. It's like, okay, you're fine now. Here you go. It's a
Yeah.
17. Yeah.
All it takes is a little hubris.
It does. Oh my gosh. So you watch as this little sheep tune is puttering about the kitchen, cooking. It seems to be making some soup. You're guessing you've seen your fair share of cooking. You can get a general idea of what's being made at the moment. And as you watch, the sheep tune pops a few blueberries in her mouth, and as you watch, her hair, the wool on her head, starts to change to a very deep blue, much like the blueberries.
Oh, he is looking with a capital L.
Yeah, the lavender and the yellow is slowly getting washed away, and it's just like a very very deep blue, and it's just like almost like it's been dipped in dye, but like at the top of her head, and just like slowly going down as she like nibbles away at the blueberries.
I think Fleck is um he's probably so interspersed in watching this happen that he leans forward a bit, and though he's small, he is still 8 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
Uh there's not a lot of space up there.
No, not too terribly much.
Uh,
Did you want to roll or sit? Just say, take a fumble.
I think I'm gonna take a fumble because
Take a
he does
fumble.
have a +7 to dex saves.
Ah, that's fair. Yeah, he's lost in the sauce, lost in the colors, and you lean just that little too much forward, and gravity, everyone's true nemesis.
Indeed.
And so Fleck scrambles and tumbles down, and it's a soft landing, and you hear a yelp. But then you're falling further, and you're suddenly amidst a bunch of items that you didn't see below you before.
Oh boy. And he probably has to hold his breath too.
Yep, he has to hold his breath. So, can make the first. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're holding your breath and probably panicking a little bit, and this hand is suddenly reaching for you. Does he go for
A
the
little
hand?
bit.
Avoid the hand.
Okay. He's a very spooked little rat. He sees the hand and he kind of just starts doing that like little breaststroke swimming away from the hand.
Oh
He's
no!
probably can't get too much traction, so he switches over to scrambling. Probably tries to grab something.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of stuff to grab. The hand grabs something and takes it out, leaving Fleck still in there as Fleck grabs. Well, actually, let's see. Roll me a d10.
Oh boy.
3. You
Dice
grab onto
Parser
a
said 3.
Dice Parser said 3. You grab onto a cookie. There's a cookie in here.
Oh, cool.
This might be a good thing if it wasn't such a panic moment.
Yeah, if it wasn't such a panic moment, he'd be tucking that into his hammer space. As is, there is now a rat clinging onto a cookie, just floating around.
Just floating around. Yeah. Okay. Okay. An 8. The hand reaches back in and is once again trying to search around and is brushing over things.
Well, he's gonna keep clinging onto the cookie right now.
Okay. With an 8, and for the sake of Fleck not suffocating,
Yeah.
the hand just like kind of brushes against the cookie and kind of brushes against you too, and like just kind of like cups you up and just like starts bringing you out, and you find yourself just being lifted through that deep, deep blue wool and just like out into the air again, and you can breathe, and gravity is a thing again.
Okay, he's gonna. I'm gonna roll this at disadvantage for funsies.
Okay. Oh my gosh, are you sure? Like this is a 29 and a 17 and a disadvantage.
She pulls out. I mean, it's probably just an initial thing, but like she pulls the thing that fell in her hammer space out of her hammer space. She looks at it. It's a cookie.
Yeah, it's just a cookie. It's just hiding perfectly under the cookie, and she can't tell. You just hear this, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, and she puts the cookie down on the counter, and she's just reaching back into her hammer space, and even from beneath the cookie, you can see her just like more things appearing on the counter. She just seems to be trying to take everything out of her hammer space because she doesn't know she's gotten you out of there. She's just trying to get everything, and she's like, oh dear, oh no, what? Oh no, I don't think that's it either. No, oh dear, oh dear.
He's gonna gently start sliding the cookie into his hammer space.
Okay, I'm gonna make okay, and that's not very good. So you pretty much get the cookie in completely in your hammer space before she finally pauses, and she blinks and looks at you because you've just gotten rid of what you were hiding behind, and she now sees you just standing on the counter amidst all the other stuff she's just taken out of her hammer space.
Fleck realizes he made a mistake. Kind of just doing a little power stance right now and staring at her with big ol' eyes.
Hello, did you fall into my hammer space just now?
No.
Oh, well then just one moment. If you could just give me one moment. I still seem to need to get something out of my hammer space here. One moment. I'll be with you in just a second. She's still taking stuff out of her hammer space.
She's not even gonna try.
Yeah, she'll try. Well, roll deception as well.
Alright. I'll do it at disadvantage.
Okay. She was also panicking. She didn't know what fell into her hammer space.
That is fair.
Okay,
Okay,
13.
So
nope.
oh my god.
Okay, so you get your eyes back. I guess Shelly can't have hers.
I guess not, and she has a +4.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, eventually, like, she doesn't have endless hammer space. Like she takes out some more cookies. There's a slice of cake as well. Um, there's a few other things. I don't know if you want to like look around at all the stuff she takes out, but eventually like she's like patting her hair, which you're guessing is her hammer space, unfortunately, and which would explain where you just went for a brief moment. And she's like, "Oh well, maybe I imagined it. Oh dear, now there's a mess on the counter. Terribly sorry. Oh yes, hello. Hello. Are you all right?"
Fleck, he was probably looking over the stuff from the hammer space to see if there's any goodies. Um,
Well, there's
and
there's unfortunately like a fair bit of candy, like grandma candy, hard candy. There's cookies. There's, as I said, a slice of cake. So there's some caramel chews. There's basic stuff like a few pairs of knitting needles, a locket, um, a pair of old, well-worn gloves, and some dried fruit slices, and what looks like a hilt of a sword. So, what's Fleck trying to go for?
uh, when she turns back, he kind of jumps. He's holding onto the knitting needles.
Wouldn't those be a little too big for you?
eh, I'm used to it.
Oh, well, I mean, I could probably fashion you some smaller ones if you'd prefer.
Kind of just blinks because, ma'am, he was just trying to rob you.
Make a perception check. Okay, you remember how, like, there was a hand reaching for you in the hammer space and everything?
uh, yes.
When you saw her walking along, she had hooves. Right now, she has hands.
Hmm. Well, that sure is something.
She's just looking at you a moment. She's like, offering, like, wanting to know if you want smaller knitting needles.
He's just gonna stand there and you know look at the knitting needles, look at her, look at the knitting needles, look at her, gently set the knitting needles down. Like, uh, sure.
All right, then here. One moment. Let me clean this up a bit. I don't. It's not usually a good idea to have a bunch of clutter around when cooking. So she just like starts taking like some of the other stuff back, and then she like, pauses when she gets to like the treats. Oh, do you want a caramel, by the way?
Fleck nods.
It's because you're tiny. It's probably about half the size of your head, maybe. It's a very big caramel, but she offers you one of the wrapped caramels all the same. It's like, here you are. Made them myself just last week. Should be good.
Fleck is he's gonna take it with starry eyes, and debating on whether or not he would. Okay. Okay, let's roll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought you'd say. He puts it in his mouth with the wrapper on.
She laughs a bit at that. It's like, well, as long as it's not going to ruin your appetite for supper.
For sure.
She just chuckles and like puts the rest of the stuff away and just goes, "Now let's see what I need. I believe is in the living room." And she takes up the little her knitting needle cane again and starts. She almost goes to go, and then she like turns back to the oven, turns the stovetop down to more of a simmer, and then goes to the living room.
Like,
And
it was probably gonna hop down and follow her.
yeah, you head back out to the living room, and it looks the same as it did from on high, just bigger, different perspective and all that. And she goes over and she takes out some crafting tools and she sets them on the table, grabs some pieces of wood. It's like, well, now let's see. Little knitting needles. Actually, what would I roll for that? Hang on.
Um,
I've used this
I'm
character
not
so
sure.
infrequently.
Uh, be a general dex check or
Okay.
sleight of hand? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. She has proficiency in it. So.
Yeah, so maybe dex plus proficiency?
Hmm. Would she get anything from her toolbox though? Because it is a specifically an artificer toolbox. So tool proficiency. You have proficiency. Okay, no, that just does. All right. All right. So, all right.
I
Dex.
will say during this, Fleck is struggling to get the candy down. Because, I mean, caramel is hard enough to eat
Mhm.
when you're big sized.
Yep.
When you have a tiny little mouth that
Mhm.
can't stretch as far. The
She's just,
tougher.
she's got the wrapper's probably not helping.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's he's gonna be occupied for a bit.
That's fair. Okay, let's see. Okay, so 15. That's pretty good. So she
Yeah.
sits down a minute and she takes some carving tools out and whatnot, and she starts working away at the wood and everything, and sands it down and gives it a nice proper polish and whatnot. And it takes a minute. Probably good thing you've got that caramel to work on. she's
Yeah.
doing it. She
I mean, sometimes, um, a few different times while she's working on it, you can kind of hear a oh, oh, but it's way too hard to discern.
yeah. She'll look at you now and then and like give you a smile. Like she either can't tell you're trying to talk or she's just like lost in what you're doing. But she gives you a small smile, like it's like, oh yes, you're still here. Good, good. And possibly by the time you finish the caramel, she carefully hands you over a pair of knitting needles that are probably still at least a little bit big, but nowhere near what you're used to. Like this is more tiny wise knitting needles.
Tech is very starry eyes over this. He's just like, oh, oh wow, thank you.
Of course, dear. Knitting is so fun and relaxing. I'm not about to stop someone from enjoying it themselves, especially if I can help them enjoy it more with something more their size.
Fleck kind of nods like, yeah, I usually don't knit a lot, 'cause, well, kind of like a full body experience. Uh, and it takes a lot of work. It's a bit easier for me to sew.
Oh my. Did you sew your outfit yourself?
Fleck kind of, he blushes a little and nods like, yeah.
Why? How incredibly fashionable of you. I knitted this sweater myself, but to sew an entire outfit, my goodness.
Fleck is, he's probably, oh, he's very awkward about getting compliments about his own outfit. So
Oh.
he's just gonna slip the conversation on over to the sweater, like, oh, you knitted that whole thing?
Mhm.
Oh, that's so big.
Yes, it took me a little bit. It's a little bit harder to knit these days than it used to be, but she's like, like pulling at it a little bit, and I'll just give you this one because it's kind of obvious. It's kind of like it's a nice brown um cardigan she's knitted herself, but there's like a patch of like very bright green kind of like on one side, like almost like lime neon green, and it doesn't seem to fit. You'd almost think it was a stain, but it looks like it's part of the wool.
Ooh. Fleck is, Fleck's probably gonna point to the green patch like, oh, what's that?
Oh, this happened. Well, let's see. It happened a bit ago now, a few months. But I took on a task to help someone paint one of the towns out in where everything's still all black and white, you see. And, well, I had someone my age, you must learn to be careful, but accidents happened, and I spilled some of the green paint. And she kind of holds out this sort of for you to see a little bit easier. And she's like, well, but as you can see, the paint colors the things themselves without leaving any paint. It's a little like, I suppose, when I eat and it changes the color of my hair, and it changed the color of the wool as if it had always been that way. And a neon green, of all things. But it was offered that it be changed back, and, well, I had most of it covered over, as I had been quite covered myself, but I wanted to leave at least a little bit of bright green, just as a reminder of that day, because, well, it was a lot of fun, and I made some friends that day, and it's nice to have a reminder of that.
Yeah, Fleck is listening with rapt attention. This is his first ever grandma story.
Oh, yeah, if he listens, like, she'll go on and tell, like, how the three of them went out and how they literally painted the town with paintbrushes and how there'd been like a whole montage and whatnot and she even tells how like this is an FPS you can listen to actually she actually got to figured out how to paint the sky in this part of Toontown, not Toontown, Inkwell, because the sky was gray and she got to figure out how to paint the sky blue.
Fleck is. Yeah, he is definitely enjoying the story. It's kind of. It's very nice to hear,
Mm.
you know.
And
He's heard from media about like grandma stories and all that, and usually they're supposed to be all boring, but this is interesting and fun, and she painted the sky.
Yep.
That's so cool.
She did.
Uh,
Yep.
so by the end of it, he's got all he's gone all starry-eyed again. Like, that's so cool.
Oh, why, thank you. It's a bit of a funny old story, isn't it? But I'm glad you enjoyed it. And oh my goodness, actually, would you like to come back to the kitchen with me? I need to make sure that dinner doesn't boil over.
Fleck nods. He knows how serious dinner boiling over is.
you, if you both end up hurrying, you definitely get there first because she's more of a shuffle and you're more of a actual hurrying pace.
Yeah,
And she gets there and
he's just a little scurry boy.
he's just a little scurry boy. And you get over there and the soup looks alright. It smells very good. Like nice home cooked meal, in a stove top and whatnot, and just like everything just coming together. It's a good blend of spices and whatnot.
Oh, look, he's probably gonna. I, I mean, you can roll insight on him if you want.
Uh, that depends on if she's given her eyes back. So, let's see. Let's see if I mean, I will try to roll insight. Let's see how effective it is. Is more the thing.
Yeah.
Is...
I mean, at least this time she's not up against rogue modifiers.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, 15.
Yeah. Yeah, with a 15, got a little smile on his face. Like, it's not like a happy-go-lucky smile. It's got kind of a somber note to it, like, almost nostalgic.
Mhm.
'Cause, well, she doesn't know this, but we know this.
Yeah.
He's got a sibling who really loves to cook.
Mhm.
And it's been a hot minute since he was in a kitchen like this, uh, seeing a little home cooked meal.
Mm. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just gonna stare at it a moment before turning to her like, "It smells really good. Do you have a recipe?"
Why, yes. Would you like to copy it down?
Fleck nods, like, I know someone who'd really like it.
Oh, but of course. I'm always one to share recipes. Here, just a moment. And she, like, fixes the stove first. Like, she makes sure it's okay. She gives it a bit of a stir, sets the ladle down on one of those little ladle holders. The ladle is a dinosaur, by the way. Like, it's one of
Oh,
the, it's like, it's a little ladle, and it's like the handle is like this long neck, and the little hook of it is like a dinosaur head.
Fleck is making a mental note of that because that is beautiful.
And she goes over to like a little box and she flips through the recipes and she takes out a card and she takes out a second card and she places them side by side. If you go over, you'll see that one of them is blank. And she fumbles for a minute. It's like, I think I have a smaller pen somewhere. Just a
Oh,
moment. Let me see. Hmm?
it's okay. I got my own.
Okay, very well then.
Okay,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, he pulls out what appears to be a little it's a little leaf, but it's instead of being green, it's kind of gray and looks almost sketchy
Mhm.
compared to compared to his nice little cell shaded hand.
Mhm.
And so because it's a leaf, it's still like about half his size, but
Yeah.
uh holding onto the stem, it is a little bit more pencil sized.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he kind of just crouches down and makes some quick notes,
Okay.
uh, looking between the two.
Okay, well, he has the whole recipe card, so he can copy it word for word if he wants to, so. And he finds it's a recipe for pumpkin soup.
Ooh. So it probably takes him a little bit longer than it would normally take someone to copy it, simply
Mm-hmm.
because of his size. Like,
Mm-hmm.
halfway through, he stops crouching and, like, lays down on his stomach like it's a 12-year-old girl's sleepover, sort of thing.
Oh.
Uh, and but once it's done, he tucks the little leaf pencil into his hammer space, tucks
Mm-hmm.
uh, the card he copied into the hammer space, and is like, "Thank you so much."
Oh, you're quite welcome. I don't have anybody to pass along recipes to these days. It's nice that to have someone to share them with again.
Oh, he kind of his ears twitch down a little, like, oh, that doesn't. But then he's like, well, uh, maybe I could bring someone in the future."
Oh, if you like, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it.
I mean, they like baking and cooking a lot, so uh so I might be able to bring them in the future.
But of course, I'm certainly not going anywhere. Feel free to stop by whenever you like. Just give a knock at the door or the window. Or, which way did you come in? I could try and think of a way to put a doorbell there. I can't imagine you'd be able to reach the one by the door. It's a little high up, I'm afraid.
Fuck nods like, yeah, it's. I mean, I can come through the window just fine.
Hmm. Window it is then.
Yeah. And my friend is tall enough to ring the doorbell themselves, so if they do come with me, we can do that.
Hmm. Very well then. As I said, whenever you like. Let's see. Oh, actually, would you like to try some of the soup? See if it's worthy of taking home to your friend? It may smell nice, but you never know.
Fleck kind of perks up like, uh, if if you don't mind, it smells really good. And at this point, his tummy probably rumbles because
Oh.
he's been out for a while, scrounging around for stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's fair. And she'll give a chuckle and she's like, "Oh, but of course you think you could come into a grandma's house and leave hungry? My goodness, not at all, not at all. Here, why don't you go and sit at the table over there? I'll bring over something to eat."
Like Matt's like, okay, thank you.
Of
And
course.
um, and he's off before he kind of he's just about to jump off the counter before he's like, actually, is there anything I can do?
Hmm? No, dear, I think I've got it all just fine. Thank you for asking.
He nods and hops on down to go over to the table.
Yeah, it's like a little round table, probably meant for just like one or two people, but you know, you're a tiny, so there's definitely enough space for you. You just like I'm guessing scurry up the tablecloth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she comes over after a few minutes, and it's not all perfectly tiny size. Like it's a lot smaller to be easier for you to use, but she has um like a very small almost like a one of those cups for tea, you know, like the smaller ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she has one with water, and she has to have with dinner, and then she has like a smaller bowl. Again, still a bit bigger than you. Filled with pumpkin soup, and the smallest saucer she could find with what looks to be a freshly baked bread roll, and uh, the smallest spoon she could find for you to eat
Oh.
with. And she sets her own stuff down too. It's like, well, here you are, and there's some butter too if you want. Oh, what? I don't know if you heard that. My cat woke up. Yeah, she says, and there's some butter too if you like, if you want some for your roll. Tuck in, tuck in. Tell me what you think.
Fleck is absolutely going to tuck on in. Uh, yep, just
Yeah.
probably tears off a bit of the bread and dips it in the soup to
Mm-hmm.
start.
Yeah.
'Cause he does remember Maris doing that a bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and it is good. It is so good. It's such a warm, hearty soup, and it's fresh bread. So, probably came out of the oven just a few minutes ago, maybe just before you got there. So,
Oh.
hadn't had time to completely cool down yet, and oh, it's so good. And as you're eating, you kind of notice the same thing when she ate the blueberries. Her hair starts to turn orange, just like the pumpkin soup, and it has some browner flecks as well from the bread.
Yeah. I think Fleck probably gets about halfway through, 'cause like after the first after the first taste, he's kind of just tearing into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like manners are something that are work in progress with this rat. uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so he kind of just gets about halfway through, looks up at her, and is like, uh, "You always change color when you eat?"
Hmm. I do indeed, just as my mother and her mother did. It seems to be a trait we've carried on over time. It's whatever I eat, my hair changes color, just as you said, and it'll last until I eat something else. It makes it quite easy if I ever want a specific color for knitting.
You use your hair to knit?
Of course, it grows back quicker than it does for most real kind sheep. And, well, I always have it on hand. Makes it quite convenient.
Buck kind of has big ol' eyes, like, seems so cool.
Hmm. It's quite useful, I must say. I do tend to sell it sometimes too, because, well, as I said, it's quite convenient, and all someone needs to do is ask for a color, and I can have it on hand most times. Some of them are a little bit more trickier than usual, but I usually manage to get it close enough. As long as I could find some sort of food or dish to eat in that color, I'm set.
Yeah. Fleck is, he's just nodding along, like, this is pretty interesting. Like, he probably goes like, you know, I know someone who changes colors a lot too, but it's, I think it's more about emotions than what they eat.
Oh, really now? That does sound interesting. Is this your friend who likes to cook?
He nods again,
Mm-hmm. Oh my.
and you can probably roll perception.
Okay.
Or insight, I mean.
Insight? Okay.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-ba. Oh, damn, alright. I found my eyes.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a nat
Uh,
20.
yeah, you can, uh, you can see that, you know, he is not as peppy as he was when he was, like, listening to your story or kind of just in general. He seems a little bit more put down. Like, he, it's obvious that he likes his friend a lot, but maybe things are a little bit complicated right now.
Mm-hmm. And she'll kind of give him a look that has a little worry to it. And she's like, "Are you alright there, dear?"
It's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Are you sure? There's. And she knows it's not the case because it's a nat 20, but she'll still be like, "There's a bit more soup if you want, or you can start clearing up and look into dessert if you'd prefer."
Probably, picks up the teeny little bowl he had, like, yeah, I'm alright. I can help with the dishes.
Oh, well, if you're sure it won't be too much for you, I would love the help.
Nods, and, he jumps down off of counters, but since he's got the little, bowl in his hands, instead he kinda make bunches a fistful of the tablecloth and slides down it.
Nice. Do you want to roll athletics for that?
Athletics or acrobatics?
Um, I'd say athletics because you're not trying to be flippy since you've got the bowl.
Alright. 18.
18, yep, you slide down. You've got this. You're like, I'm helping. I'm not going to make a mess, and here I go. Look at me do it with style. I mean, that's an 18. You do it with style.
He does do his best.
Mm-hmm. He does. And you go over and start, helping clear up and do the dishes, and she'll, like, hand you things and whatnot, and you start, getting away through things, and she'll start talking, she'll, as grandmas do, and how, she's moved here just a few weeks ago, and it's nice to have a house and everything, and you kind of get the feeling like she's almost talking to, like, fill the air kind of thing, because,
Oh,
like, she noticed you were feeling down, and so she's just trying to, like, just talk about things, and to, like, if you don't want to talk about it, she's not going to push, so she'll give you, like, other things to think about.
oh.
You all get the dishes get put away pretty quickly, and she talks about it. It's like, oh, how nice it is to have a little bit of help. Usually this takes me longer, but look at you. You're just up and down all over the place and just getting things right where they need to be. My goodness, must have taken about half the time.
Oh, Fleck definitely has a little blush on his face, like, oh, it's nothing really. I'd help out with the dishes all the time at home.
Well, all the time or not, it's still very helpful. It's very kind of you to do, all the same. You didn't have to, and yet you did.
You're killing the rat. This kills the rat. He's kind of just gone fully red now. Like, I'm happy I helped. Uh,
I'm happy you helped too. Look at you. You look about as red as my hair after some strawberries. She teases you gently.
somehow he gets even redder. uh, just like, thank you for being so kind. I mean, I snuck into your house and fell into your hammer space, and you gave me dinner.
Oh, that was you who fell into my hamsters. My goodness, I'm glad I was able to fish you out so quickly. I was so worried. Well, I suppose she thinks for a moment. It's like, well, I figured you came in because you were hungry or you needed something, and well, I'm a grandma and I'm not about to turn away somebody who needs something. Suppose you
Oh,
can say it's part of our story or our design, but well, I don't really have anything you could take that would be terribly missed and couldn't easily be replaced, so there's certainly
and
worse things in the world than having a potential new friend break into my place.
it was like kind of just goes like, oh, well, actually, I came in because and he pulls out the little bit of wool, like, I saw this and it seemed really neat. Uh, I was I was looking for some warm stuff, 'cause winter's coming and it's getting cold, so everyone should probably start getting stuff to help with that.
Oh, you're right. I must have snagged on something and not realized it. Oh my, well, would you like more then? Well, I've got yellow, orange, and brown right now, if that's not a color you'd like. Let's see. Is there a color in particular were hoping for?
Fleck, he kind of goes like, he thinks for a moment before he goes like, oh, well, maybe something uh a bit on the muted side. Uh, 'Cause I really like colors, but well, we don't uh it's probably best if we got stuff that wasn't too eye-catching.
Ah, yes, it's need more things to blend in. Well, let's see. I do have a few things in particular here. And this time she actually holds out her hand to you to offer to pick you up.
Oh, yeah, Fleck, he takes the hand.
Okay, she picks you up. She carries you in one hand, and she uses the knitting needle walking stick with the other. And she goes over to the pantry, and she'll start like pointing out different foods and whatnot for color reasons. And there's definitely like some muted ones in there, and just seeing which colors you want. And they're definitely organized by category. You probably haven't seen a pantry organized like this before. It's sorted by colors.
Yeah, Fleck is definitely making a mental note of that. Uh, yeah, he probably listens along, uh, points to some of the more muted stuff like the browns and the blacks. Uh, like he does linger for a little bit on the blues though. But he has duty and he wants to fulfill that duty because he is a good member of society.
She does probably see you lingering a bit on the blue, and she does offer that if you want to come back for blue another day, that you may.
That kind of nods like, yeah, maybe with my friends.
Yeah, sounds like a wonderful idea. Now then, let's take these and go back to the living room. And she goes back over and she carries you along too, of course. She sets you down and she offers you like some of the food too. I'm guessing like they've got like some different nuts and whatnot for the brown color and everything. And she's just eaten, so she's a little full, but it doesn't seem to take much. Like she takes some of the nuts and chews them and whatnot, and you see again her bowl just starts to change, the color just slowly spilling down and whatnot. And once she finishes, and she like tilts her head a little this way and that, making sure it's all changed, and she reaches well, actually, it would be in her toolkit. She takes out a pair of shears and she starts cutting her hair.
Fleck is he's kind of just watching and like it's obvious he's kind of fascinated by the whole thing. He thinks that being able to grow your own material is amazing.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm gonna have her do is, because it's funny and she can, at least a few times, but yeah, it's she. You see her shearing it all down, and then you realize that there's a potential problem because she's shearing it like all the way down. That's her hammer space. Hang on a minute. And so it's kind of like when your hammer space is like an item or a hat, you put it down, you don't have access to your hammer space, and she shears off the hair that it goes past her shoulder, so it's a fair bit of wool, and she shears it all down, like all the way down. She takes care to get around her horns and whatnot and her little ears, and she looks at you, gives a smile, puts her thumb in her mouth, and just like puffs out her cheeks, and her hair just gives a little like thump, and she's got about an inch of hair back, and it's a pale creamy color.
Actually, like, oh, that was so cool.
She looks very pleased and happy with herself. I'm glad you liked that. It's not enough to shear off for a second go, but it helps it grow back a little faster, enough for the next day if I need it. Now then, would you like to see how to turn this into some yarn, or would you like to just take it as is?
He nods really excitedly, like, I've I never had the chance to work with wool before. It was all fun, I think the word is. Is that the word?
Mm-hmm. Usually the wool, there's a few steps into taking care of the wool, but as it's my own hair, I can promise you it's already quite clean. But all the same, here, and she like takes out the tools you need to card the wool, and she'll like show you how to hold it, and like how you brush it together, and then she'll take out what looks like a drop spindle, and I guess you guys spend the next little bit of time taking care of all the wool and carding it up, and then spinning it into little spools of yarn. So it's all spun up, and she will give you, like, if he wants it, she will give her all of it. And it's a lot, because
yeah,
it's a lot.
he probably takes a good bit, but does leave some for her, because, like, she mentioned that she sells it, and while he's from a family that is not the biggest fan of capitalism, he also is from a family that understands the burdens of capitalism. So,
yeah.
so he's not gonna take all of it, just the stuff that he needs.
Okay.
Just like, thank you so much. I'm sure everyone's gonna appreciate it a lot. Uh, and he is going to. Wow, I think every time he rolled for hammer space, he got like.
Yeah. I think
So,
one time he got a 10. But yeah.
one time he got a 10.
Yeah.
Every other time
it's a 3. Yeah, it's 3. Only 3.
Yeah, so he pulls out a whole bunch of he pulls out a whole bunch of those little leaf pencils you saw earlier. And some very shiny nails. Like here you go.
Oh my goodness, are you sure?
Nods, like, well, I mean, it's only fair I give you something in return.
Well, thank you. Look at these pencils. And she's like, she is fascinated. Like, you don't even have to roll. She's just like, she hasn't seen a pencil leaf before. She's just like, oh, look at this. This is neat. This is something I've never seen
Nods,
before, and I'm a grandma. My goodness.
Nods, like, yeah, they're really cool. We got them from a rave yard.
Graveyard? I don't think I've heard of those before, but then again, I'm sure there's much I haven't heard of. Perhaps a story you could tell me next time if you wish?
Like, Nods, like, oh, it was a really fun time. Uh, but yeah, I can definitely tell to you next time. Uh, I think I think my friend would also probably want to tell it because they were there.
Ah, sounds like a wonderful conversation to have over dinner next time.
He nods very excitedly. You now have a grandchild.
She's very happy to now have a grandchild. Uh, well, now, is there anything else you might need? Oh my goodness, it's gotten late. I don't want to keep you out past any time you need to be back by.
It seems like he only just now noticed that the passage of time is like an actual thing, and he's like, "Oh, oh yeah, I should probably go back, or else he's gonna get really, really worried.
Oh my
Gets
good.
worried a lot."
Oh my goodness, that doesn't sound good. Here, let me get the tofu. It's probably fastest way out of here. One moment. And she gets up. She heads over to the door, and you see that there's a pair of hooves by the door, and she picks them up and she puts them over her hands like a pair of gloves, and she has hooves again.
I, hello.
She opens the door, and you think it would probably have been easier with hands than hooves, but she seems to manage it. She seems to be used to handling things with hooves and whatnot, and she
I hope you
manages
know
to.
that
Yep,
this
good,
is what's in it.
good. This is what I hoped for. This is the exact gif I was thinking of.
Amazing.
To those listening later, it's absolutely the gif of the reindeer who just like tosses off his hooves and then wiggles his fingers. Like, yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Except the opposite because she just put them back on.
Yeah.
And she opens the door. It's like, here you are, dear. Now, you're not forgetting anything, are you? Got everything tucked away?
He pauses to think for a moment, and then that's like, I think so.
Oh, well, good.
Thank you again for everything.
Oh, you're welcome. And to be quite honest, thank you for breaking in. I didn't have anything planned for the day, and this was far more exciting than anything I would have come up with on my own.
Fleck, that's like, well then, I promise to break in again sometime soon.
She absolutely laughs at this. She's just like, she's laughing, she's bleating, she's just like, she's absolutely delighted. She's like, by all means, it's like, have more cookies for you too if you come by.
He nods, and he's got a big old smile,
Aww.
and it's definitely like, it's definitely a real smile. He's had a fun time.
Aww. She definitely gives a genuine smile at this. Like, because she was worried about you, but, you know, she's not going to push if you don't want to talk about it, because you just met. You know, if you're not somebody who wants to, like, pour out all your problems to a stranger, she's not going to make you. It's like,
Yeah, it's a bit awkward to like break into someone's house intending to steal from them and then like traumatize or whatever the meme term is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, she got you to smile, and that's all that matters to her. And you're leaving with a full stomach, and she's a grandma, so you know that's also important. She'll give you a wave as you head out into the night. Of probably getting back just in time before Duster starts to think about sending out a search party or something.
Probably just like he rushes on in like wait, it's fine.
It's fine. I'm here. I have returned.
He probably does a thing where he jumps off that little cliff at the entrance again.
Duster turns last second to cast Featherfall. It's like, oh, you're here. He's like, there you are. Before realizing Kuna's just a knee-jerk reaction now.
Yeah, he is never going to get in the habit of climbing down, I'm sorry to say.
Oh no! We'll have to inform magic of this unfortunate.
Unfortunately, tunes are drawn to running gags.
This is true, such as running off ledges.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we'll end it today. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Common, for being here, and thank you to those listening in the future. I hope you all take care. Bye.
And thank you for playing with me, please.
Thank you for playing too. Yes, this was so much fun. They were so adorable.
Yeah, just a nice soft time.
Yeah.
Just a good soft time,
yeah,
which is
Brad
real
deserves
nice.
some good soft time. He deserves some good soft time too.
Yeah.
Oh. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.